The definition of a holistic view is that all aspects of people's needs, psychological, physical, and social, should be taken into account and seen as a whole. Holistic relationships is leading the charge and sparking real conversations that transcend the ordinary, aiming not only to explore life's intricate facets, but also to inspire positive change and cultivate better approaches to every topic we touch. In the realm of love and relationships, marriage and divorce, parenting struggles and single parenting triumphs, toxic relationships, and the liberating journey out of codependence, our goal is crystal clear. We are architects of change, crafting blueprints for better, more holistic relationships that stand the test of time. This isn't just a show or podcast. It is a movement. Each show is an invitation to recalibrate one's perspective, to rethink conventional norms, and to embark on a journey towards a more fulfilling life. From the nuanced dance of co-parenting to the empowering pursuit of self-confidence, we are here to guide you towards positive transformation, empowerment of self and others, setting goals, building legacies, and collecting fortune with purpose. Holistic relationships is more than a show, it's a philosophy. We navigate the complex terrain of aging gracefully and achieving optimal health and weight loss, shedding light on compatibility in relationships, and imparting wisdom on the art of dating and courtship. Join us as we forge a community committed to positive change, where every conversation is a catalyst for growth, every revelation is a step towards understanding, and every piece of advice is a key to unlocking a more holistic and fulfilling life. Welcome to Holistic Relationships, where the pursuit of better, more meaningful connections begin, and positive change is not just encouraged, but celebrated.
Philly Jams 95.3, Indie 101.5, and Mixed Talk Media. And I'm available anywhere that you listen to podcasts, okay, and your radio shows. So get on it, okay? Let's do this. I love to connect with you and promote what you got going on. Let's get it. If you or someone you know would like to be a guest on the Blueprint Live, visit thebpmediaco.com today. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to another week of the Blueprint Live with your girl, MzMetchi. Brought to you by Philly 101.5 and Indie 95.3 and Fluent Radio. Shout out to our partners, Be Your Own Kind and Ms. Z with the Tea, honey. And thank you to our amazing sponsors, Tax Strategy, Black Dollar Days, Fire Infusions, and last but not least, Lavish Looks by MzMetchi. Okay, tune in every Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time and at 9 p.m. Eastern Time in Philly. All right, y'all, it's showtime. Let's get it.
What it do? Your favorite cousin Young Jock checking in, and right now you're tuned into the Blueprint Live with my favorite MzMetchi. All right, hey man, you know what it is. Keep doing what you're doing and keep it right here. Chill.
Yo, what's happening in? What's happening in? Oh, it's your boy $2 Fabo, Bankhead Fabo. Oh, hey man, check this out. I want y'all to tune in right now to the Blueprint Live with MzMetchi, and I want you to tune in every Thursday at 6:30 Central Time. Ah! Oh, Fabo!
Hey, y'all. Come on in. I got a glass of wine. I'm listening to Glass of Wine by Chaz Up. The concert is next week, in case y'all didn't know. Let's go. It's so many events going on. It's the summertime. Today is the first official day of summer. Okay. Welcome back to another week of the Blueprint Live. It's your girl, MzMetchi. I am so glad that I get to pop in with you all this week before we're out. Okay. Because we got some things coming up. I told you all last week. Okay. So I'm so excited for tonight's show. You all, let me tell you all about the powerhouse that I have in my backstage lounge right now, okay, on the Blueprint Live. I have Dr. Shante Griggs joining me. And, look, I've been promoting her all week. She just had a book that was released. You all, I don't know what you're doing, but I need you to stop. I need you to put those headphones in. Just stop wherever you are, okay? Because she has a story to tell, and I'm going to be bringing her on in just a few moments, okay? But before I do that, I have to shout out to all of my listeners that are tuning in with me from Chicago, Jersey, Philly, and Houston. Okay. I get a lot of love out in Texas, and I love y'all for it. Okay. I love y'all. I love it so much. Thank you. Thank you every week for tuning in. Okay. The Blueprint Live is available, of course, on Facebook and YouTube, but it's also available on all the channels. Okay. iHeart, Spotify, wherever you need it. Okay. We got it. And of course, thank you so much to my radio partners. Okay. Shout out to Fluent Radio, Philly Jams 95.3, Indie 101.5, and Mixed Talk Media. Okay. You can catch them every Sunday. You can catch the Blueprint Live on Sundays too. See, it's the Thursdays and the Sundays. Let me get in these comments really quick. What y'all talking about over here? Hey, Lauren. Hey, sis. Happy Blueprint Thursday. Don't you love it? Don't you love it? Thank you. Thank you. I do it for y'all. I love y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. Now, of course, where will we be without our amazing sponsors? Okay. After tonight's show, everyone that I'm mentioning, okay, including my special guest for tonight, is going to be hyperlinked, okay, on Facebook as well as YouTube. Please make sure that you stop and go and like those pages, okay? Remember, we supporting each other over here, okay? And shout out to my sponsors, Live Long Health, Black Dollar Days, Paris Ice Bar, and Fire Infusions, okay? Make sure y'all follow the sponsors too. They have different things that's going on. Live Long Health has a whole summer special that's being offered for the month of June. Okay. If you use code Blueprint, you get a discount. Now I'm not gonna tell you how deep the discount is because maybe you gotta tune in, but know that it's deep. It's a deep discount. Okay, a deep dive. Get in there. Okay. Shout out to my sponsors. And with it being the first day of summer, okay, summer has kicked off. I want to know what's on your summer 2024 bucket list. Now, I have a few things that are on my bucket list that I'm actually going to be doing this summer. And I want you all to share too, because I know you all have some good stuff, and I might add your selections to my bucket list. So get ready to share tonight, okay? That's tonight's topic. Now, hold on, I'm gonna get you. I see y'all over here. Bobby said, "Get Tiffany Hayner on your show." Hey, sweetheart. Friend, I can't. I won't. This is the thing. Everybody at the Blueprint Live, we respect everybody's different political, religious beliefs and all of that. Nope. No. Okay. Now it's time for me to go ahead and bring in my special guest again. I want y'all to give it up. Okay. Let me get it prepared because I have to make sure it's prepared. Okay. I'm going to bring in right now. Dr. Shante, are you ready? Can I get a thumbs up? We are good to go. Hold on. Hi, Dr. Shante. How are you?
Hi.
So, everyone, tonight's special guest, Dr. Shante Griggs. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. You've been having the best week ever, right?
It has. Unbelievable. Still unreal. I wake up every day like, wow, really? Did you just do that? Yeah, I did a thing.
You did. And so, Dr. Shante, okay, look, I've been really, really excited to talk to you because, ma'am, first off, when I read up on you, she is a powerhouse, a true powerhouse. I want to give them, and you tell me if I miss anything, okay? You've got a degree in pharmacy as well as, and correct me if I'm wrong, Naturopathic girl. I
You
said
got
it
it
right.
right. You
Okay.
said it right on the
That's the
first try.
medicine. I did good. Okay.
You know how
You
many years it
also,
took me to say that?
it's a tongue twister. I was literally practicing it before we went live. Okay. And then I just learned earlier. So you have a show, a beauty line, and you're an author. But let me know, am I missing anything?
I'm still wrapping my mind around all of that. And
Look,
a mother,
Mhm.
which I absolutely love. It's yes.
That's
Being a
right. So look, I always, when I bring my guests on, Dr. Shante, I like to give our listeners just kind of like a journey of everything. Can you
Okay.
talk about, choosing your field as far as medicine?
Oh, wow. My gosh. Okay. Whew. So when I went to college, I actually wanted to go into engineering. I went to the
Okay.
University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign.
Okay.
And one day I looked at, you know how you look at a curriculum and you start looking at the names and I'm like, I don't know what these classes mean. I don't know what I'm going to be doing here. And so I decided to change my major to pre-med.
Okay.
And my roommate at the time, her cousin was finishing her PharmD from the University of Illinois at Chicago at their College of Pharmacy. And
Okay.
she had me on the phone with her and she said, hey, have you ever thought about pharmacy? And I said, what's that? Now we're talking over 20 years ago. So it wasn't as well known because whenever I told people that I was going to school to become a pharmacist, they instantly thought pharmacy technician. And I was like, no, it's a pharmacist. And so
Exactly.
it's really interesting thinking back on how I had to explain to people what that was. And I went through the program and I always still wanted to do pre-med because I wanted to be more involved in patient care. And again, this is from the perspective of over 20 years ago where pharmacists weren't in patient care. These days, they're all throughout the hospitals. They're in clinical pharmacy. They're at the patient's bedside. They're doing a lot more than when I first entered. So my desire to be more in patient care was based off of what was happening in those times for pharmacy, which is not the same now.
Okay.
And so I still decided to sign up for my MCATs to go to the pre-med route.
Okay.
And then at that time, another young lady walked up and she kind of just planted the seed. Hey, have you ever thought about naturopathy or naturopathic medicine?
Okay.
And I was like, well, what is that? And so
right. That was the first thing I'm like, I need to research immediately.
what is that? And I didn't jump into the field just off of that information. Because she was pre-med when I met her and I was pre-pharmacy. But when we ran back into each other years later, she had already pursued the program. And I asked, I said, hey, did you ever finish your medical degree? She's like, no, I decided to do this instead and become a doctor of this. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. But I still never, I always knew that they were really heavy on nutrition and of course, natural pain relief. And it was years later when I signed up and I said, okay, you know what? This is the next step on my trip of getting into patient care. I'm gonna just take my MCATs. And then I said, well, I don't know that I want to do that because the only thing I feel that I would be gaining is just prescribing authority. And I don't know that I care about that much. Why don't you take the road that's least traveled? I'm going to look into natural medicine. And so I actually did a Google search to become the naturopath. And then this school popped up, the National College of Naturopathic Medicine. And I'm looking at the Google and I'm like, it's not spelled right. What is this? Because I know what I typed and versus what popped up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is this? This school is within 8 miles of where you live. What is this? And so I went there just to take a nutrition class. That's it. I only wanted to add nutrition to my professional portfolio as a dispensing pharmacist. I worked with Walgreens for over 17 years. So at this time in my life, I was a Walgreens pharmacist and I was staff at a location in Chicago. And so I went and took a class. But while I was there, I developed a frozen shoulder. I had an injury and I couldn't raise my arm to hear without excruciating pain. And I had to go to work just like that.
That's painful.
It was very painful. I had to ask my people to help me. But of course, I got student loans. I have a mortgage to pay. I have to go to work. So, I wasn't born with a silver spoon, so but it's not like I had parents or anything. So I had to take care of myself, but I did not want to go under the knife. I did not want to have surgery. And that was the only thing that was being offered to me at that time, surgery and medication. And I'm not taking any painkillers because I'm the pharmacist. I have the narcotics safe key in my pocket. So I have access. So I had to go to work in pain. But just by chance, I was in this school and I was taking notes in my nutrition class, and the doctor saw me. I mean, he was the instructor, but he was also a doctor of nephropathy, and he was also the instructor in a technique class. But he saw me in pain, and he said, "Shante, are you in pain?" And I said, "Yeah, my shoulder. I haven't been, and I became the guinea pig of the class because some of the other classmates were also in his technique class. And so he said, "Hey, we got a real life case here. Let me show you something." So I, not knowing the gem of the place that I was in, I went on back, got on the table. He did some things. And the thing that I explained to people is someone that didn't know anything about the medicine. Is that when I got off the table, I felt something different. Something was different with the shoulder. And I turned to him and I said, "I will pay you cash if you can fix this. Where is your office?" And
like, I need this to not just be for the class for today. I need this long term.
Yes, I scheduled my appointment within a week. And I remember this in November because I have a really good friend who had a birthday party in November. And I was just feeling so bad because I thought I wasn't going to be able to go. But I had one treatment with this naturopath. And I was up in the club that Friday.
Giving them the shoulders, Dr.
And I was like, "Oh my God, what is this? What's your what?"
Right. You said you were in pain earlier. You feeling better now.
Yes. Tell me more about this nephropathy. So, nutrition plus what? Because this is amazing. Like,
Dr. Shante, I know that we have some listeners that are tuning in that just came in. They may have missed the type of medicine. Can you just give us a brief overview of the type of medicine? Just a quick definition.
Naturopathic medicine is just a natural medicine that involves nutritional counsel, natural pain relief. I'm able to help people get out of pain without medication, painful injections, or surgery.
Okay. Now, Dr. Shante, does that span across like for people that may have different issues as far as with so like you may have some people that have diabetes or some people that have fertility issues or different things. Are you able to help like a wide span of people? Or
indirectly, I would say that not directly but indirectly, because we are connective tissue specialists by definition, if you want to use the bougie term of what we are. And you have connective tissue throughout your entire body, right? And so connective tissue, it can be the ligaments, the things that connect muscle to bone, or it could be the fascia network. We call that the white meat that's right underneath the skin. It can be blood, lymph, so it's connective tissues are a few different types of cells and things within the body, I should say. And that's what we treat. And so pain disorders by definition is connective tissue disorders. But since we're affecting connective tissues, we're affecting nerve tissue, muscle tissue, bone tissue. It's hard tissue, but it's still a tissue at the core of it. So we're affecting so many other things. And because we also align the spine, we also align the pelvis, we are able to affect the entire body. We're putting everything back into alignment. We're helping the tissue, correcting tissue, I should say. And then we're also helping through nutrition by feeding the tissues what it needs for repair and restoration. So we're able to help people inside out. So it is a manual medicine, and we do have to touch you for what we do, but it's so many things that we're able to do. So I always answer that indirectly, yes, we can be able to.
No, I appreciate that. And because, when I wanted to look up a little bit more. I was like, okay, we talking about some real stuff here. But I saw something where they were comparing that type of medicine to like chiropractors. But what you all do is so much more detailed, right? As far as between those two different practices.
Here's the thing, the founder of naturopathic medicine was a former chiropractor. So it is a derivative of chiropractic medicine, which is a derivative of osteopathic medicine. And these three fields of medicine were founded within like 3 years of each other in Iowa. So they all kind of had, the only difference is that the other two forms of medicine are widely known. Our founder was so afraid of others stealing the techniques that he kept it a secret, and he did a great job. He kept it a secret. He did a darn good job of that because, you know, we're celebrating 116 years as a profession, but no one really knows what that practitioner is. And a lot of my work is, you know, in the education part of it. I don't treat as a doctor because I'm more in the realm of administration and education and trying to create more naturopathic doctors. And that's pretty much what my passion has been since. And I meant to also mention that shoulder injury was in 2010.
And you haven't had any pain since?
Not
oh
since.
My good. Do you all hear this? Okay, look now, Dr. Shante, you have to send me a link for people if they, you know, need to get it. You know, we got a lot of people. I'm like, we got some bad knees in here, some elbows. I know my people out here, they got some things going on. I just, yes.
We never claim to cure anything, but we don't really meet people that we can't help in some way. They're affected, we're able to help them.
Absolutely. I know that, you know, I saw that you had kind of experienced some different challenges along the way that kind of, you know, really yielded you to starting your book series and different things. Can you share a little bit about that?
Sure. When I got married, and this was right as I was finishing my degree in naturopathic medicine, and when I kind of got there, it was when we decided to have a family. So it was around my childbearing years. And who knew? I didn't, you know, I guess I may have started in late 20s, 28, near 30, around that time. And I don't want to reveal my age here. So,
that's okay. No, we will not. And y'all better not ask in the comments. Okay, we're not doing that.
Just joking. And so yeah, I had a challenging time during my childbearing years, the early years. I've had 5 pregnancies in my lifetime, and I only have one surviving child. He's 7. He's my miracle baby. But yeah, he came after, let's see, I had 2 miscarriages before, but they were like separated by 10 years. So they were different circumstances in different places in my life. So one was a miscarriage. So within my marriage, the first one was a miscarriage. The second one was a preterm birth. My first son was born at 25 weeks gestation. So he only survived 3 days because he passed from the complications of his prematurity. And my next pregnancy was an ectopic pregnancy where the pregnancy was in my right fallopian tube. And it was at a doctor's appointment that they discovered it because, you know, that can be fatal. And so it was actually about to burst. And it was while I was on the table and they were conducting the uterine ultrasound, and they're like, we don't see anything, but the pregnancy test is positive. I'm showing the symptoms, everything. And in that moment, I went, ow, and I felt something on my right side. And then the young lady, she panned the camera over to the right, and that's when they found the pregnancy. So they had to admit me immediately, have to have emergency surgery, and that pregnancy was terminated. And at that time in our life, I had just given up at that point. It was too much after, because they were all within maybe a year of each other. So 2013, 2014, and
that's so
you know, so it was very challenging. And when I found out about my son, I didn't even know. So, because I just thought, you know, I know that what the gynecologist told me. She said, oh no, you can still have it. And I'm like, lady, I got one good fallopian tube here. I don't know if it's in the cards for me here. And during that time, I had also been on bed rest. So I had a lot of time, you know, I was laid off from work. So my career at Walgreens ended. And then when
I've heard that they are not always the greatest to their people in times of need, and we're not here to to talk about
Yeah.
anybody, but I
Well,
would
but
imagine.
back then it wasn't as bad as what I've come to find, but
Good.
hey, when God closes a door, one door closes, a window
Another
opens,
one
and it
open.
did. It did. But at that time, when I found out about my son, I had just opened my practice. I was fresh out of school. I had passed my exam, got my license. And that was after maybe sitting for about a few months where I wasn't doing anything. I had fell into depression. I just didn't do anything. I was in my last year. I was in my internship year in this school, and I just stopped doing anything because I was just so hurt. And one day, I don't know, someone was like, "You're so close to finishing. You should keep going." I was like, "Well, all right." So I went back in and just took it one day at a time. And I finished. They let me walk with my class, but I had to go back and finish the time that I had missed because I had been out for a few months.
Okay.
And so I was able to walk with my class, and then I went back and I finished, and I started slowly getting back into it. And then I got excited. I had opened up my practice. I had done my thesis for my 4th year. My thesis was
tell them about the thesis. Yes.
My thesis, because I was pregnant in that internship year.
Okay.
So it was really cool because my friends and yes, you can have it. It's my son. I know he always likes to, you're on camera. I did my fellow interns, they would treat me because when you're pregnant, you're in pain a lot. Everybody's pregnancy isn't sunshine, the flowers, and the violins. No. And I've had enough of them to know that they are all different. Every one of them. Some of them I was perky and still doing my hair, and others I just felt like crap and ugly.
Right, you like just close the door, okay? Leave me alone.
Yes. And so it was such a blessing though to have known about this medicine because I didn't have to suffer pain in the same way. And I used to always feel so bad. I had so much empathy for pregnant women that came up to the pharmacy looking for solutions. And I knew that there was nothing I can really recommend them only in the first trimester, because by the time you get to the 2nd and 3rd trimester, everything is essentially contraindicated. You can't take it. So what are they supposed to do? So I always had a heart for the pregnant population for that. When it came to pain relief, it was very little that they could do. I only let one prescription go in my life, a Tylenol with codeine prescription. It was the one and only that I allowed to go through because this woman had excruciating migraines.
Oh my God. Those are the worst.
And I was on the phone with her doctor, and she said, "I know your concerns. She is so miserable." I turned, I looked at her, and I just said, "Okay." And that was the last time that I probably let anything go. But I always had a heart for when they were in pain, legitimately in pain. They know that they're in pain, and all of the diagnostics are saying nothing's wrong. They can't see it, but they know what they're feeling.
Exactly.
So I was so blessed and so fortunate to have been in that school. And my interns, they were working on me, and they were discovering things too about the pregnant person's body and pelvis and how flexible and as it prepares for childbirth.
It helps everybody.
So I did my thesis on hyperlordosis and lower back pain in the pregnant population with the application of naturopathic medicine because I was pregnant and I was discovering so many things. And so that's what I did my thesis on and presented to the school about, because that's what I was passionate in. And then after, when I left and got licensed, whereas some of my classmates were going into sports medicine or they were doing other things, I went into women's health, particularly family planning, prenatal and postpartum care.
Okay.
And when I opened up my center, it was called Griggs Care. I was on the south suburbs. I was so super duper excited. I signed my lease. And the day after I signed the lease, I found out I was pregnant. And I knew then that I would not be able to keep the shop, my dream. I had to let go of one dream for another.
Yeah.
And so I kept it open for like the first trimester, but after that, the 3rd trimester, I had to shut the doors for good. And I had to give all of my clients, my patients to, for their continuity of care, send them to other naturopaths throughout the Chicagoland area so that they can still be treated. that was heartbreaking to let go of my my dream office and practice and what I wanted to do. But I also knew that I needed to get to term, which I did. But unfortunately, I was going through a divorce at the same time. And no, right? And so that was like, what is happening, God? Really?
That's a lot for anybody. And these are, Dr. Shante, not to cut you off, these are the stories that people don't hear. They see your success. They see that, you've accomplished all of these things, but they don't know the things that go on in the background, that you have to navigate in order to get to those places. So thank you for sharing with us.
Oh, absolutely. I heard from a very popular motivational speaker that said that when you share your story, and in sharing your story, that can be someone else's survival guide. And that's when I said, you know what, it's time, and while I was on bed rest, the Type 4 Experience, my book that just published, it was born of being on bed rest. And let me tell you, here's the thing, that and the Shante Beauty and Health line was created while I was at home, unemployed, sitting on bed rest, nothing to do. And the first product I made was a product that I call Smooth Like Butter. And really, I just didn't want to get
because you got some in the background. Can we talk about some of those?
These are the setups that I had for our launch yesterday. So this is the shampoo, the conditioner, at least for the hairline. But the hairline grew or evolved into one because of the body products. See, I was pregnant and I was trying not to have stretch marks, not knowing that there are other reasons why I didn't know. And so, and I don't have them, but that was the reason that I made it. And then one day I said, well, given my situation, and I had all of these recurrent losses, pregnancy losses, I was just so paranoid about the things I put on my body, on my skin. And so I said, well, you know what, Shante, if you make it, you'll know exactly what's in it. And that, it's just as simple as that. I was just afraid. And I didn't want to do anything. And I'm a pharmacist. And some of the things those words, I can't pronounce on the back of some of those ingredients.
I'm glad
I'm like, wait a minute, what is this? So that was how it started. And then as I was going through my natural hair care journey, and as I, gave my dedication to my hairstylist, I couldn't make it to her anymore because I couldn't leave. I was on bed rest. I could not leave. And she offered to come to me and things. And it just didn't feel right because you have a business to do. I just, my pride wouldn't allow me to accept her help to keep my hair going. So what I did was go into protective style. I went into some cornrows, and that is when lace front wig era for Shante went, because I just wanted to look okay, presentable, but I didn't want to lose my hair. So it was just braided underneath. I just left them in braids and just went through the pregnancy, went through the first few years. Because when they cut you open and take a person out of you, that's difficult. You're not going to be sitting here trying to do your hair. So having to go through that.
This is the last thing on my list right now. The last.
Having to do that and go through and become a single parent, which I did not sign up for. That was something like, oh my God, you have this little baby to take care of and you're by yourself. And then I had my dad, who was such a huge help with him. He moved up here. He was living in Texas. He moved to Chicago, came help me out. And I'm grateful for him. He's no longer with us. He left us just right in the midst of COVID, like in 2021, not from COVID. But that whole thing. And that was so devastating, losing a parent. And that's when I was working on my book. It's Mommy Hurts. That's the next one that's coming. It's called Mommy Hurts. And that's going to tell more of that story and the different things that you go through as a mom, becoming a mom, in the different ways that we hurt. It's just that my heart said, well, launch Type 4 Experience first. And then we'll segue into it. And in the book, I also talk about Mommy Hurts, because that's what Mommy Hurts is based off of my thesis as well, and I dedicated that thesis to my late son, because had I not gone through that, then I wouldn't have been encouraged or inspired to talk about that. And what I discovered when it comes, I mean, there's so many forums and groups out there about with women and infertility and recurrent pregnancy loss and all kinds of reproductive health issues. And it wasn't until I was going through that I found out that I wasn't alone and that millions of women were going through it. And that is why I was so motivated to have my women's health facility in naturopathic medicine because of that. You know, a lot of family and friends, and I know they meant well, they would say things like, well, maybe you just can't hold them. And I was like, oh, there are millions of people that go through this. I'm not just an anomaly.
I am triggered.
Triggered. Oh, and so and I knew, I think that I know that they meant well. They didn't mean it the way that it came out. Because they just didn't know how to empathize. And so that book, Mommy Hurts, is for the women that have to deal with that. And, you know, I've had the miscarriage, I've had the preterm labor, I've had the ectopic pregnancy, you know, and I think I used to think back and say, well, God, why did I have to go through all of this? And I think I understand now. I get it. Is to tell the story and to be able to show people a way, show them and walk them back to health. Because this pregnancy, it went just fine. And everyone was so afraid that I wouldn't make it to term. And we had to go and get this one.
You coming with us.
I had scheduled, you know, and I really wanted to do a vaginal birth so bad, you know, but I had a wonderful gynecologist, a wonderful doctor. And she said to me, Shante, I know you don't want to get cut again, but we have worked so hard to get this baby here. And I just don't know that if anything happened, we don't have enough time to respond. If you were to do this, please reconsider. And that is when I said, okay, you know, when I went into emergency labor with the second pregnancy, I thought that they gave me the vertical, but they didn't. They gave me the bikini one. And I was like, oh, well, thank you. Because I thought I was going to have I was going to have this lasting scar down the belly because my son then was breech. He was sitting right up with me. And then I just went into, you know, preterm labor. But actually my cervix was effacing months in. And I didn't get a chance to do the, the cerclage, the cervical stitch. And they didn't want to do it because part of the water bag was seeping in. And so they were afraid to nick it. So I had spent 2 weeks in the hospital. This was that year in 2014 when Chicago had that blizzard and no one could go anywhere. I had to make the
That's happened a few times, but that
it was that year. And at the time I was still married at the time, but my husband was deployed. He was in Kuwait. And so it was.
So you were like totally by yourself.
I was completely by myself, and it was terrifying. And every day I would get up and go to that NICU. Even when I would call for the wheelchair, if they took too long, I was lining against that wall, making it to that.
Like, I gotta
NICU.
go. I gotta go.
Yes. And when we discovered, you know, his brain bleed and that it was moving structures, it just was imminent. It was a very difficult decision to say, you know what, we're going to discontinue the life support. And I'm telling you, those NICU nurses were so amazing. Like they were so hurt, and they took care of those babies there for you. They really did. And it was just, you know, I remember, you know, my ex-husband at the time saying, wow, you're so strong. Because I said, well, I'm going to be there. And he's like, I don't know if I can do that. And I said, well, you know, this baby has heard my voice as long as it knows. It's been conceived.
That's right.
I'm going to be there until the very end. And I did. To the very end. And so I tell that story, and it's amazing because I used to couldn't tell the story without crying. But now the more that I told the story, and to find that there's so many people that have similar stories. Well, what did you do? How did you move? How did you, and so,
How did you
yeah,
navigate?
how
Right.
did I get through it? And so now I'm doing it in print. So I started with the Type 4 experience. Next, I'll release Mommy Hurts. I'm excited
Okay.
about that. Yeah, so Mommy Hurts, the Hope After Horror.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
with the Type 4 experience, you had an exciting launch yesterday. I was really sad. You know, I was out here in these Juneteenth streets, Dr. Shante, but
I get it. I
you
get
had an
it.
exciting launch yesterday. How was that for you? Just,
Oh, it
kind
was
of
amazing. It was amazing. I am so grateful for the people that joined the panel. And really, what I wanted was to invite people, and we're going to make it an ongoing conversation, because I wanted people to share their Type 4 experience, because we all have one. We all have one, especially if you're of African descent, you have one. You may be bald
I know.
now, but you had hair before, and you had hair of the texture. So you have the experience. And so I wanted to showcase other people, their experience, get on the panel, because mine is in the book. I'm clear about what
Okay.
happened to me.
You say you laid it all out.
It's already out there. And then that's when I shaped it to become a hair guide.
Okay.
At first, it was just me telling my story, and then I said, and then I have to learn to do this, and make sure you don't do that, because that isn't work. And I went,
we've all had some hair fails. Like have you ever tried to color after you had permed? It was like a little too close, and then it's the ladies have had a time. Yes.
So it was amazing. We are going to tentatively, we're going to be, and I'll make sure that when I confirm everything on all of my social media, we are tentatively scheduled to do a book signing at Afro Joe's in the Beverly neighborhood of Chicago, July 10th. And it's going to be during the time of the show Holistic Relationships, my show Holistic Relationships. So that's when we're going to do that. And we're going to have, it's a coffee shop, Black-owned coffee shop. We're just going to sit around, have some coffee, some tea.
I love a good cup of coffee now.
Have the tea about hair, and we're going to talk about hair and Black hair. And so that's going to be so exciting, so we're planning a lot for the book tour, the salon, and the hairstylist that I've made my dedication to. I'm going to do a book signing there. We're just confirming dates and just getting a schedule together for people to come out and partake in the conversation, So it was fun. It was fun. If you guys get a chance to check it out, I know it was a 2-hour event, and I know you're like, oh my God, 2 hours. Well, when I tell you that I had to get people off of there, when I tell you,
you said they could have went on all night, right?
I had to stay on cue, and each panelist, they had 7 minutes, but they were just so, I don't know, that enthusiasm, and they were just, so I'm like, okay, so we're just 2 minutes over that one. Okay, let's improvise.
You all are rolling a little bit more, but that's okay.
So we're going to bring some of the panelists back, and other ones. And then I want to do more specialty shows where we talk about the men of Type 4 experience. So there's some, we got some shows planned coming up to talk about that. And
now where can they, not to cut you out, where can they tune into your show for the holistic show? Where can they tune in there?
Holistic Relationships is every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Time. I live stream to all of my platforms. I have Facebook, I have LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter.
Okay.
I'm trying to see if there's another, because Instagram is a little different, because I have to do that a little different for Instagram.
Okay.
But I do post clips and things on my Instagram and my TikTok. And then I also stream from our station, also from the university station. That's my little time slot, just to, diversify the content for the channel, give them a little something different on the channel. So NCNMU TV channel, we stream there as well. And those channels stream to over 200 countries. So we are having global conversations about the holistic relationship.
Wait a minute, we got to break out the pom-poms, Dr. Shante. Wait a minute now. That is amazing. That is amazing. So, and I love that, because, we have to have, you said it earlier, as far as like that you do a lot of the education behind things. We have to know, like, if people don't know that this type of medicine or that, your books or the hair care, if they don't know these things, how can they support? So I love that. That's amazing.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes. Well, what me, I'm more interested in sharing the stage, and bringing other people as well to the conversation, because I just love the different perspectives. I know I have my belief system and there are things that I like, but I'm always interested in knowing what is the next person, like, what are they thinking? What is their walk of life? What is their experience like? So that's just something, that's just me, so I don't mind it at all. Just bringing people on to co-host or to, be a part of the panel. And the layout of the show is I do go over different types of topics. Some things I grab from social media. Some things are just part of the human experience. I go over my show, but then afterwards, the plan is to get the panel and we discuss that same topic. But people don't have to hear my part. Let's bring in the other people and share their perspectives on these same things. So we got all kinds of things coming up, like with divorce and child support, and these are real issues out here. People
are a lot of things. They really are.
They are, and as much, and I think that like I'm a millennial. I like to call myself a senior millennial because I'm like right at the, but
no, take that senior off. It's a millennial. Take it off.
I'm over there where I was almost Gen X, but not quite. And so I don't know where I kind of, so I lived in both worlds. I remember doing a paper on a typewriter, and I remember those big old back Apple computers, I remember dialing off of a rotary phone, and I have the iPhone, so I remember.
Well, that means I'm a senior millennial too then. I remember, I said I'm a senior millennial.
I just remember these experiences. I just remember, and I'm like, okay, I remember how this was, and I grew up in this age too. And I know, and at least I thought that social media was supposed to be a means of bringing people together and connecting to so many people, because you can touch all corners of the globe with it. But somehow, in ways, I feel it's made us less social, and people don't know how to have conversations with people anymore because of it. And then I also feel that there's this swipe left mentality. We're so quick to swipe left that we're also doing that inadvertently and maybe unconsciously when it comes to our relationships with people. And so I bring up these type of topics in holistic relationships so that we can have better outcomes and better relationships, whether it's romantic relationships, your family relationships, your working environment relationship. A relationship is a relationship is a relationship. And how can we be better with each other in these relationships? And it starts with, talking about it. So you have to get out of your comfort zone and have the difficult conversations and just try to encourage emotional maturity and, just talk about it, like I can respect your perspective. And really, for me, it's just about being understood. It's not about being right or wrong, just being understood. And the best way to being understood is to understand first, because your whole position can change once you understand. And, my fields involve active listening. So as a pharmacist, I had to actively listen. As an African, I had to actively listen. And so, I know my empathy meter is off the chain here.
Right. Like there's no scale for it. There's no scale.
People, and I think that is why I get along with people, because I understand them, and I'm not very quick to take offense to things. A lot of times with me communicating my position or what I'm thinking based off of how someone is showing up, it might come off a certain way if they're not used to a person being direct. Exactly. And so I just don't have any tact. And I make jokes about it.
There's no filter over here, okay?
What you see is what you get. I don't, I don't believe in being pretentious and all that. What you see is what you get, and so I'm just excited about that and just connected. Someone said it, connecting people. Yeah, we're connective tissue specialists. We connect people.
Okay, well that is the thing. Dr. Shante, I just, we can go on forever. Okay, we can have our own little panel, but we should. We can. Okay. I just want to, just let you know that I really appreciate you taking this time out. I mean, this is like the week of the release for the Type 4 experience. So I'm so thankful that you were able to come on and just join me and share a little bit more about your story, and just, give my listeners some things to look forward to as far as buying your books and supporting you moving forward. We're going to be at Afro Joe's, y'all. We got to get our coffee.
Yes, Afro Joe's, have some tea. It's the hair tea.
Yes. And look, before you leave me tonight, can you just let everyone know where they can follow you and also where they can purchase the Type 4 experience?
Absolutely. The Type 4 experience is available on Amazon, so you can get it same day if you got the right membership. So the Type 4 experience is available on Amazon. So it's available as an ebook, and the paperback is available as well. And you can find me at Dr. Shante RX, no spaces, all lowercase, everywhere.
Yes. Dr. Shante, thank you so much for joining me. Best of luck on everything. You're gonna have my support. I'm gonna be sharing everything. Please let me know when everything is finalized as far as the other tour dates, because we may have some people in the different cities that would love to come out and support. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Y'all, what did I tell you? I told you all that Dr. Shante was the one. Okay, I told y'all. Now look, I'm gonna leave her information scrolling here, but I gotta take a quick break. Okay, when I come back, we're gonna hop into tonight's Hate It and Love It. And baby, I got some Hate It and Love It's for y'all. Okay, please hold. We'll be right back.
Hey, are you struggling with